So I'm coming up on the end of my first year doing content creation, mainly focused on Twitch and live streaming type content. I have added YouTube to my repertoire, I guess, in the last couple of months towards the end of the year, but I wasn't that focused on it. I had the same mindset that every streamer has, that if I just stream, I'll blow up. And unfortunately, that's not the case. So, learning was a huge curve, and it's going to be a huge curve going forward, no matter what I do. And anybody who's actually streaming and in their first year, or even going into their second year, or, whatever, or anybody looking at doing content creation, either full time or even as a hobby, should be aware that the learning curve is getting really steep. You can't just rely on viewers or, really yourself. You have to put in work. It is a lot of work. It's a full-time job for me. I spend 5 to 6 days a week right now doing something related to content. I take Sundays off and just focus on family and downtime, because if not, I'll burn out. And I did. Initially, I was streaming 5 to 6 days a week, anywhere between about 8 to 10 hours a day. And by the end of about my fourth month, I was exhausted. I couldn't do it. It was too much. And I said, I can't do this anymore. And I ended up running into a video that Alpha Gaming did with Harris Heller, and, talking about dropping his stream schedule down. And as soon as I did that, and I went to 3 days a week and took those 2 days to do content outside of Twitch and live streaming, I became way more happy. So it was absolutely fantastic. But like I said, one of the big problems I ran into was the fact that I was focused on Twitch and Twitch alone. My Twitter account looked like a live streaming alert system for me. I am still not very good with Twitter. My Instagram, not so much, but there was a couple of posts, back to back to back, where that's definitely what it looked like. So making content is not a one size fits all. Not all of us are going to be good at everything. I can do some graphic design. I can do some motion graphics. I can do a little bit of editing for YouTube, which is what I currently do for all the videos that you actually see. I edit those and I do all the graphics for that. But it's not easy, and it's a huge learning curve because I have never done anything like that. I've edited videos, but nothing to this extent, and nothing on a strict schedule. It was always just things that I wanted to do. Now, going into this upcoming year with 2020, things are going to get a little bit different. I'm adding more YouTube videos at least twice a week, no less than once a week, so long as everything goes well, as well as adding Facebook and Instagram, Instagram TV, TikTok, probably a couple things on Periscope, and, basically just about every platform you can think of will have some type of content on it. And not all the content will be the same. Some of the things like TikTok and Instagram, your actual feed on Instagram, are short form, whereas YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram TV are long form. So being able to kind of tweak the videos to kind of fit each platform is going to be a challenge, but I'm super excited for it because I haven't used those platforms, and Facebook did add the Creator Studio. So it will allow me to actually post more things to Instagram TV, which my first video actually went live today, and it didn't do too bad. I mean, I don't have very many followers as it is, so the fact that within the first 20 minutes 5 people saw it was really good for me. And it was really exciting, even if they didn't watch the whole thing. The fact that they saw it was better than nobody seeing it at all. And that's the thing. Making content, even poor content, poorly edited, is better than making no content at all. And I think it was Mark Cuban who's actually been pushing that more often now, because most streamers, we just focus on our live streams. We'll go 10 hours a day or, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, only doing content on Twitch or Mixer or whatever our platform is. And that's just not good. You need to diversify your actual content and where you're putting it. Um, One of the big things that, I had to learn with the YouTube video stuff was the video editing. I'd I'd never used these programs before. I knew Adobe Photoshop. I used that when I was in high school, but I haven't been in high school in years, and I haven't had to do any of this. So learning DaVinci Resolve, which is free, for anybody who wants to try, video editing and get a little bit more detailed, DaVinci Resolve was a great jumping off point. But because I was already paying for Adobe Suite, I had Premiere Pro. So I decided to go ahead and try that out, and I actually really enjoy it. I just kind of wish Adobe would go back to the other model because I don't need the latest and greatest every year. I just need a piece of software that's going to work, and I pay for it. And if I want to upgrade, I can. If I don't and I want to keep using the old one, I can do that too. These, pay per month subscription things that these companies are doing now, I understand why, but it's not cost effective to anybody starting out or even students and most small businesses. So I'm actually looking at switching out some programs and possibly getting rid of the Adobe Suite. But that's going to be something that comes later on this year. Same thing goes with, the graphic design. All of the things currently on my stream, except for I think like one thing, which is the rotating feed at the bottom, those things were designed by me. I did those in Photoshop, mixed a little bit of After Effects in there, and boom, we're good, and I'm happy. So it's more detailed, and it's really fun for me to kind of tweak things and learn how they work so that when I actually get to the point where I can hire somebody for, a couple $100 or whatever it's going to cost me to actually get everything completely customized to what I want, I know exactly what I'm talking about. I know exactly what I'm looking for and what I won't be okay with. Whereas when I was first starting out, I just threw anything up there. I've tried out God knows how many layers now, or, overlays. And some of them have worked really well, and others just didn't fit anything that I was trying to do. They didn't fit the brand that I'm building. They didn't fit my personality, or I think the worst was the fact that they were too busy. With my overlays, I've definitely tweaked things to the point where it's very minimalistic. I don't have very much going on. I have some interesting moving parts to them where the gradient layer in the background kind of does this circle around, but that's really about it. All of the flashy, donation things and the sub things and all of this crazy stuff that so many new streamers put on, I took all of it off. It was just so busy, and there's no need for it. I'm not going to be pulling in a bunch of donations anyways. I'm not going to have a sub every single stream. I may not even get, bits donated every single stream. So just having the rotating feed was actually a really positive thing for me to move to instead of those weird feed things that are always at the bottom or at the top. They're just too busy. There's no need. And unless you're a pro gamer, you're not going to use those. So, strip it down, strip it back to just the bare minimum and kind of go from there. Build from there. Get a solid base first and then move on. With getting a solid base, social media is huge. Oh my goodness, it is so big. And I would never have thought that social media played such a huge role in actual content creation. I just figured, PewDiePie was posting, videos on YouTube and just moving on with his life. And that was it. That's not at all how that works. Now, for him, it probably did because he's been in this game for a while. But most of us just starting out, we have to use every medium possible, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, DLive, you name it, you should be using it. There's so many different kinds of social media out there, even LinkedIn. Somebody, I think it was Devin Nash, mentioned LinkedIn. You can do stuff on LinkedIn that nobody else is doing because nobody else is thinking of creating content on that site, even though it is a great networking site. And you can create so many business networks, which this is a business and you need to treat it as such. Your social media pages, I have a private Facebook. It's mine. It has my friends and my family, and things like that. But as far as, business type people or, my viewers, I have a whole page for them just off to the side because there's some things like in my personal life that I'm not going to share with the world. I don't necessarily mind, but there's things like, my kids or, just private information that not all my viewers really need to know. And some things are better just left in your real life situation, not being shared, with your stream or your community all the time. You need to have that good separation in there between your social networking and what you're doing as a business versus what you're doing in your private life. Those two things need to stay separate, just like, your work home life. You keep those separate for a reason. So do the same thing with your social media and other, business type things, because streaming and content creation is a business. And I would have never thought about it that way at all. Um, and as I was kind of going through things, growth kept kind of popping into my mind because I did grow. I grew this year, and I grew as a person, and I grew my stream, and I grew my YouTube a little bit, and it's all been very slow. It hasn't taken off. And at first it was really disappointing. Towards the end of the year, I got really kind of just stressed out and disappointed and started, kind of beating myself up over every little mistake that I had made and couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. And to be honest, it didn't help anything. There was no need for it. All of the growth issues that I was seeing is just the name of the game. It's not a, you know, magic wand that you wave, you go live, and all of a sudden you have all these people. That's not how that works. It's a gradual process, and organic growth for me has been more rewarding than anything else I've actually done. So I have a couple of viewers in particular that are just my biggest cheerleaders. They're always there, even if it's for 5 minutes. They'll swing in to say hi. And, I talk to them when I'm not live. They're in my Discord, and it's just a great kind of relationship. They kind of will check me if I'm getting a little bit ridiculous, and it's really helpful for that. But you need to kind of still be able to separate that out, because like I said, in real life stuff and your actual networking for your business and your community, you kind of do need to keep those separate and don't blur the lines too much. Because you'll end up taking a mental impact from it. And in the end, that's not going to be a good situation. Streaming versus the content creation. I enjoy streaming so much. I absolutely love sitting there playing games and goofing off with my friends. I do. I love it. And I like, laughing and giggling and putting on a show and whatever. But it hasn't been, the main focus for the last few months. And going into this upcoming year, it's not going to be the main focus. It's one of the big ones, but streaming and content creation are going to be on the same level for this entire year. So a lot of my energy will go into the YouTube and the TikTok and the Instagram TV and all of that stuff versus only focusing and only putting money into my Twitch and into my live streaming platforms. So I'm actually moving some of that, money that I was initially spending into other areas so that those areas actually improve as well. And you kind of have to do that. You need to find that happy balance, and you need to find what's going to work for you, not for everybody else. One of the big questions that I kept getting asked is, if I could do it all over again, what would I change? So the big one would probably be the affiliate agreement. I love, doing the sub thing and, changing things for bits and making all these tweaks and making it unique and all of that. However, with the affiliate agreement, there is the clause where you can't multi-stream. Now, I'm not saying multi-streaming, is the end all be all, but because that clause is in there, it does kind of dictate what I can and can't do on those days that I'm going to stream to Twitch, because I don't want to violate that agreement. So when I'm doing anything live streaming, if Twitch happens to be, when I stream Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, I don't do any other live streaming stuff that day, because I don't want it to be a conflict with the agreement that I signed, because I did sign that agreement. And yeah, I could go back and I could, take away my affiliate status and tell them, no, I don't actually want it. And then I could go back to just being me. But I'm already on the platform. I'm not super keen on Mixer or DLive anyways. Facebook gaming and YouTube gaming are getting added in this year, but I'm not sure about the other two platforms. So those are things that I'm looking at just to kind of diversify where I'm actually at. That way, if a viewer or, a community member is more comfortable on one platform rather than the other, that's fine. And they can still interact with me on a live basis on those platforms where they're more comfortable. But as things grow, we're going to have to take a look at those and kind of make some decisions on what's going to be best for my brand in the long run. Another thing that I would definitely do all over again is focus more energy on, the multiple different platforms instead of just Twitch alone. Diversifying everything that I'm doing and paying more attention to YouTube and Twitter. And even Facebook this last year has grown really, really well. So, kind of just adding those things in a little bit sooner and actually paying attention to those analytics would have been amazing overall for me. I love the data that's behind a lot of this stuff. So, getting that information and seeing it is really, really cool. Another thing is not streaming 5 to 6 days a week and not streaming for more than about 4 hours on the days that I do stream. When you're pushing that hard and your entire focus is I'm only going to grow if I'm live, you're going to burn out so fast. And I definitely did. And it just wasn't a good scenario mentally. You end up in a really bad place, you get really frustrated, and, things go downhill. And that's a big thing too. You need to focus on mental health. And originally I wasn't worried about it. Oh, it'll never happen to me. And one by one, I saw friends and people that I really cared about going through it on the actual, live streaming platforms, and kind of open up the eyes of no, it does happen to everybody, and you need to kind of be aware of those, and you need to know the warning signs for yourself too, that something's not going right. And then, the very last thing is just creating content on every platform that I have, actual content, not just, posting stupid crap on Twitter or, posting basically nothing to Facebook because it's only linked to my Instagram. Just doing content as an overall. If I could do it over again, I would definitely change those things. Now, for this upcoming year, we have exciting things, we have scary things, and we have some boring things. So this entire year, I'll still be keeping my 3-day-a-week stream schedule on Twitch, which is Monday, Wednesday. Nah. So this entire year, I will still be keeping my 3-day-a-week schedule for live streaming on Twitch, which is Monday, Wednesday, Fridays between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Those dates, the times may shift, but the dates won't. So, it's going to be based kind of on what I see analytically. And any changes that I'm actually going to make to that schedule are going to happen more towards June, July. What I'll also be doing is adding more live streaming content on Facebook or YouTube or some of the other platforms, maybe possibly Tuesdays and Thursdays, but those are kind of backburnered. Tuesdays and Thursdays are going to be more focused on actually editing videos, filming the videos, doing all of the things for the other platforms outside of live streaming. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are definitely being focused on the actual editing portion because that takes me a lot longer than most people. And I need those days to be able to brainstorm and kind of go through those, content pieces. I'm also working really hard to get ahead on my YouTube videos. I'm trying to post them 2 days a week. Mondays and Fridays at 2 different times. I haven't really set which time I'm going to launch videos on Mondays or even on Fridays, but they are going to try and be Mondays and Fridays, and both days are going to be different things. So Mondays are probably going to be more industry related type things. Fridays, more personal, more opinionated type days for me. And then on top of that, because of those days throughout the week, I'll be taking most of those YouTube videos, breaking them apart and using them on the other sites. Since you don't want to post the same content over and over on every single site. I'll be editing things down and tweaking things to fit the platform which I'm posting it to. A big, huge thing that I'm really excited about is I'm going to focus a little bit more on doing actual training with graphic design and motion graphics to get better at that. I mean, I have a pretty solid grasp, but there are a couple of concepts that still stump me. So, getting a little bit more technical training in those areas, I think would be really, really helpful for me. And then possibly towards the end of the year, adding more technical training in video editing and audio. Because my audio is hit or miss and it's not an easy thing to learn. And like I said, I will be changing out software. So that's going to be a huge, huge nightmare for me. And that's going to take a couple of months for me to actually get into the software and be able to slowly but surely step back the Adobe Creative Suite. Unless, of course, they magically fix their business model, which isn't going to happen. The other huge thing, which I can't go into super big details on, is I already have one website launched. It will actually go live here in a few months once I'm done adding the extra bits to it. And then there is a secondary site that I'm hoping to fully launch probably by about August or September. There's a lot going into that particular site, and I'm not going to go into details on what it is or what it's supposed to be doing, but I'm really excited because if it actually works, it will, kind of open up some doors for some of these really small graphic designers that more focus on streamers rather than, the graphics design realm as a whole. So it'll be a really great thing if we can manage to get it off the ground and actually make it work. And then of course, the other really big thing is just diversifying the income that's coming in. Twitch is a really great source, but I don't want to rely on all of you amazing people in my community and my supporters for income. So, focusing more on ad revenue, getting the YouTube channel to the point that I can monetize it, getting the Facebook channel to monetize, and all of those kinds of platforms to actually monetize the videos on those. So that brings on an income, and I'm not relying or even really worried about, the gifts that I do get from viewers and community members. And all of those gifts are extremely appreciated. You guys are amazing, and I do love every single one of you that jumps into my stream. But with it being the end of the first year, we learned some things, we changed some things, we changed a lot of things. And things are going to keep changing regardless of what we do. So keep an eye out on, my social media accounts because things are probably going to pick up pretty fast going into February. But I am so looking forward to this year. And I hope all of you guys have a fantastic year as well and have, just unlimited success throughout the year, whether it's, content creation on other platforms or with your streaming. But regardless, know that you are loved. You are not the only one who struggled in 2019. I think a lot of us did, but I will catch you guys Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from here on out, starting at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Twitch. Link is down in the description below. If you have questions, comments, concerns, of course, leave them for me. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe and ring that bell because there'll be lots more videos being posted this year and it's very exciting. But I will catch you guys later. Don't forget, keep on streaming.